In this video, we will look at how to convert a percentage into a fraction. But first of all, what is the definition of percentage? Well, a percentage tells us how many parts per hundred there are. And if we look at the word percentage, we see the word C-E-N-T, cent, right in the middle. We know that 100 cents make a dollar. We know that there are 100 years in a century. We know that if we celebrate 100 years, it's called a centenary, and that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So this can help us to remember that cent means 100 and percentage means we're going to be dealing with the number 100. We always write percentages out of 100. Let's look at 9%. We write 9% as a fraction as 9 out of 100. The line that separates the numerator and denominator, we think about that as division. So that really means 9 divided by 100. Now let's try to convert some percentages into fractions. Let's convert 31% to a fraction. Step 1 says we write the percentage as the numerator, which is very simple, 31. Step 2, we write 100 as the denominator. We said before percentage means per hundred. And we take a look to see if the fraction is now in lowest terms. And we see, yes, 31 over 100 is already in lowest terms, and so we are done. So now question 2. Let's look at 30% and try to change that into a fraction. Step 1 again, we write the percentage as the numerator, 30. Step 2, we write 100 as the denominator, 100. And now we look to see, is the fraction in lowest terms? Well, no, it's not, because I know 30 and 100 can be divided by 10. And so we divide both by 10 to reduce them to lowest terms. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 100 divided by 10 is 10. And anytime we see a fraction where the end digit is 0 in both the numerator and the denominator, we can divide them both by 10. And it's easy to do that by just crossing off the 0 on the top and the bottom. And now we're left with 3 out of 10. And that is in lowest terms. So 30% as a fraction is 3 out of 10. Let's look at a third one. Convert 35% to a fraction. Step 1 again, we write 35 as the numerator. We write 100 as the denominator. And then we check to see whether it's in lowest terms. And we see that it's not, because 35 and 100 are in the 5 times table. Anytime a digit ends in 5 or 0, we know that it is in the 5 times table and we can divide by 5. So let us reduce to lowest terms by dividing by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And so now we're left with 7 out of 20 in lowest terms. 35% as a fraction in lowest terms is 7 out of 20. What did you notice as we went through those problems? Changing percentages to fractions requires you to do 3 things. 1, you write the percentage as the numerator. You write 100 as the denominator every time. And then you reduce if you need to. So now it's quiz time. Let's convert the following to a fraction in lowest terms. You have 5 seconds. Here's the first one, 70%. Time's up. The answer is 70 out of 100, but that's not in lowest terms, and we can divide both by 10, and that gives us 7 out of 10. Here's number 2. Convert to a fraction, 90%. Time's up. 90 out of 100 is the answer, but again, that's not in lowest terms. If we divide both by 10, we cancel the zeros at the end, we get 9 out of 10. Question 3, convert to a fraction, 15%. Time's up. The answer is 15 out of 100, which reduces to 3 out of 20 if we divide both by 5. Now number 4, convert to a fraction, 25%. Time's up. The answer is 25 out of 100. And if we try to reduce that again, we can attempt to divide by 5, but we'll get 5 out of 20, which again we can reduce by 5, and we will get 1 over 4. And the last one, number 5, convert to a fraction 2%. Time's up. 2% is 2 out of 100, and we can divide 2 and 100 by 2 to give us 1 out of 50. And now you've solved the mystery of how to convert percentages to fractions. Way to go!